Even with warm temperatures deep into November, the new plan from Austin leaders to ensure the city is taking care of its most vulnerable when the bitter cold strikes.
Those temperatures will fluctuate a lot over the next week. We'll show you the ups and downs in First Warning Weather.
School curriculum across the Lone Star State taking on a different look next year. The controversial learning materials officially approved by the State Board of Education.
Well, we do have some breaking news right now just into the KXAN newsroom minutes ago. Despite calling for a recount yesterday, Carmen Yanis Pulido has conceded in the Austin mayor's race. She says that she will not pursue a recount. We're going to have more on this, including a statement from Yanis Pulido coming up on KXAN News at 6. Well, today the State Board of Education voted to allow Bible-infused learning materials in Texas elementary schools. Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Daniel Marin.
I'm Avery Travis in for Jennifer Sanders. Our Ryan Chandler reports on the potential impact this could have on schools next year.
Texas's newest teaching materials leaning on some preaching materials.
There is Christian bias in this. There are ways to separate the moral of the lesson from religious teachings.
The state board voting 8-7 to approve the bluebonnet lessons after a week of controversy over some religious themes. Some members worry the lessons favor Christianity over other faiths and may violate the separation of church and state.
I also appreciated the effort to include other faith traditions. I appreciate that, but it seems to me like it is trying to place a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
So let's take a look at what some of this curriculum actually is. It's not overt evangelism, but it does use Christian themes to teach other skills like history and reading. This 5th grade poetry lesson plan includes the Psalm of David from the Bible, identifying it as a core text of the Jewish and Christian faiths, and later instructing students to interpret the line, "The Lord is my shepherd." That lesson plan also identifies King David as a central figure in Islam. Another 5th grade reading lesson features The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, a famously Christian allegory by C.S. Lewis, instructing students that a central character represents Jesus, who it says the Bible teaches died for others and was resurrected. And a teacher's guide for a 5th grade unit on Renaissance art mentions Jesus 65 times. But, you know, that kind of comes with the territory. Faith advocates argue the Bible is a legitimate historical and literary focus.
Attacking these materials merely because of their academic study of the Bible is denying students the freedom to learn and create a learning environment that is hostile to Christianity and religion.
Schools will now be able to decide for themselves what's best for their communities.
That's our Ryan Chandler reporting there. Going in depth on Monday, Texas Representative Aaron Zwiener filed a bill requiring districts to send a note to parents a week before school starts, asking if they are okay with their kids being taught instructional material containing religion or religious values. That bill will be taken into consideration during the next legislative session, which starts in January.
First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
Beautiful end to the work week. A lot of sun today, comfortable air after a cool start. And temperatures as we enter the early evening are still in the 70s. Not for all that long, though. These numbers will be falling off in a hurry later on tonight. But as you can see, the temperature change over the last 24 hours. Most areas at least a couple of degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We also had some high, thin clouds in the sky today that we have not had much of the previous few days, so you're probably seeing actually kind of a cool looking sky here tonight. High school football playoffs at Burger Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff live on KBVO. San Antonio Brennan taking on Westlake. Kickoff temperatures at 65, falling into the upper 50s by the 4th quarter. So the temperatures do back off quite a bit as we head later into the night. Whatever your plans are, I'd have a heavier coat with you. We've got a warming weekend to show you ahead of 2 cold fronts that bring some big temperature swings. We'll update you on the Thanksgiving cool down to follow.
Nick, thank you so much. Bastrop ISD students are expected to be okay after their school bus got caught in a crash this morning. According to the school district, first responders checked the students for injuries, but nobody was seriously hurt. The crash took place near the intersection of Highway 71 and Blue Flame Road near the Wildwood neighborhood. The district said in a statement some students did go to the hospital out of an abundance of caution, but, quote, most of the students were safely transported to their campus where they reunited with their families. It's unclear at this time what led to the crash, but according to the district, the Texas Department of Public Safety has opened an investigation.
Austin Community College broke ground on 2 new facilities at its Round Rock campus this morning. The new spaces are part of a 2022 bond program aimed at housing specialized workforce training programs. One facility will take up more than 24,000 square feet. It'll create space for programs that train students in advanced manufacturing and HVAC. Another facility will be more than 36,000 square feet for ACC's automotive technology program.
So they have access to this training, because with that we know they can get a great job or career really in skilled trades.
Now, coming up on KXAN News at 10 tonight, a look at the demand for these types of jobs and which this campus will specialize.
Going in depth, earlier this month, voters in Lockhart decided to join the Austin Community College taxing district, which means ACC students who live there now benefit from in-district tuition rates and fees. Meanwhile, in September, ACC announced it would be starting construction on a new building for their Hayes campus, specifically focused on medical science. This comes alongside plans for a new campus in southeast Travis County, meant to focus on skilled trades like auto collision repair. There are also plans to add a health clinic and a wellness center to their Highland arm.
Changes are coming to Austin's cold weather shelters this winter. The city's homeless strategy office will now activate the shelters when the forecasted overnight temperatures are 35 degrees or below, removing the city's previous activation system that had multiple tiers for things like rain and wind. The city also plans to alert people sooner as to when they're going to open the shelters, at least one day before the weather drops rather than a few hours before. This year, the city is also planning to open an after-hour service meant to help those unable to register for help before the regular window closes at 8 p.m. The city will also give families with children and unaccompanied minors vouchers for hotel accommodations.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the H5N1 bird flu has infected a child in California, making it the first reported child infection of the disease here in the United States. The CDC says, like other cases, the child had mild symptoms and is currently recovering. California's Department of Public Health is looking into how they got the disease, including this most recent case. 55 human cases of H5 bird flu have now been reported in the United States this year, along with 29 in California. The CDC says the risk to the general public is low, but they do still warn people to be careful around dead or sick animals, specifically birds. Texas lawmakers are eyeing the possibility of bringing high-speed rail to Central Texas. State Representative John Busey III filed a bill earlier this month calling for allocations of state funding to support the development of high-speed rail linking Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio. In a statement, he said state leaders need to explore more robust mobility opportunities as Texas works to accommodate its booming population. Lawmakers are focusing on the I-35 corridor in particular. It serves as a key economic hub connecting metro areas across the state. If you want to learn more, including the details of an accompanying bill in the Texas Senate, you can head on over to KXAN.com. We've got all those details linked in this story.
The city of Austin is looking at ways it can generate more funding to maintain city parks. And one idea the city council is considering could potentially add a fee to your utility bill in order to help the city support its more than 350 parks. Yesterday, City Council approved a resolution asking the Austin City Manager to consider options such as partnerships, outside consultants, and user fees. District 7 Councilmember Leslie Poole, who drafted the resolution, spoke on the need to ensure the city's parks don't fall to the wayside amid a very tight budget.
Our parks tend to be heavily loved but underfunded, unfortunately, when budget time rolls around. And I'm hoping this resolution will help find a steady source of funding so we're not having to choose between critical needs and maintaining our parks.
And that resolution also requests that the city manager explore the idea of creating a strategy for park management and maintenance.
Today was a full 4 degrees warmer than we were yesterday in Austin. With a high of 76 today, that was 7 degrees above where we should be, and these numbers will keep climbing this weekend.
Playoff football is here in Central Texas as high school teams are vying for the opportunity to actually get to practice on Thanksgiving.
A team that's familiar with playing in November and further is Westlake. Our Noah Gross is with the Chaparrals ahead of their area round matchup. Hey, Noah.
Hey, Daniel. First, I'm a little scared. Some linemen have been throwing the ball behind us and missed a couple times. We haven't gotten hit yet, but as the Chaps warm up, I don't know if viewers at home can yell in time, but I'm a bit worried that we might get hit. As for the game, yeah, Westlake, as you guys said, a team familiar with making it late into the postseason. Tonight facing a San Antonio Brennan team that usually makes it this far and then faces Westlake or Lake Travis. This is one of the many big games in the area. Also, Liberty Hill and Brenham. That offense for Liberty Hill, the slot T, as they try to advance farther. They're playing at the field tonight in Pflugerville. We'll have highlights of that one. Lake Travis, the rival of Westlake, back in action in San Marcos tonight. Highlights of that one as well tonight on KXAN News at 10. And then, of course, here in Westlake, as we said, it's usually Westlake or Lake Travis that gets to face one of the best schools from San Antonio in Brennan this round of the postseason. Tonight, it's the Chaps. Remember, this Westlake team suffered a rare loss earlier in the season in non-district play, but since then they've been unbeaten. They beat Lake Travis, their rival, and everything. So that leads them to tonight here in the area round, where they're trying to advance to have the enviable task of waking up early, practicing on Thanksgiving morning as they try to make another long playoff run here under head coach Tony Salazar. As we said, full highlights tonight at 10. They just started jamming the music right before we went on air, but it's all right. We got a good background with Westlake warming up. This game at 7 o'clock on KBVO, so you can watch Westlake against Brennan on KBVO at 7. Hope you'll join us for that. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, now I'll get to safety. Thank you very much. Well, this morning, our chief meteorologist Nick Bannon and our morning anchor Tom Miller got to hit the field at Q2 Stadium for the Austin FC media game. They put them on different teams. Nick played as a forward and Tom was the goalkeeper for the winning team. And Tom actually got the Defensive Player of the Game award after making several fantastic saves to keep his team on top.
So Tom's team killed it today. Tom was fantastic.
I was okay.
In goal.
Thank you, though.
Certainly one of their top players, and bowing to their team, they did really well today.
And if it makes it feel better, last year Nick was the MVP. So you had some bragging rights going into this game.
Yeah, but you certainly stepped it up this game, and we'll see what happens next year.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Looks like you've caught your breath since then.
Caught my breath, yeah. I tried running more before this game because I know last year it wiped me out. It did not help at all today, and I think every piece is sore here. So I'll be icing a lot over the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take it out to Q2 Stadium from our Indeed weather camera. Thanks, of course, to Austin FC for hosting the media game today. Always a good time there. We've got a mostly sunny sky, some high, thin clouds around, making for a beautiful sky here this evening. Clouds and radar is, aside from the high, thin clouds, reasonably clear across the state of Texas with no rain around. You'll see what our computer models do to the sky as we head into the weekend. I don't think we're going to have as many of those high, thin clouds around tomorrow. We get into Sunday, there'll probably be a few more clouds, some patches of low clouds in the morning, and then a few of the high ones for the afternoon, and then some thicker cloud cover trying to come our way later in the day on Monday. I think Monday morning and afternoon will be mostly sunny, and then some of those clouds to the north come in for Monday night. So temperatures upper 60s and low 70s across most of Texas. There's a few rare 80s to our south, and more of the same here for tonight as temperatures drop pretty quickly into the low 60s at 7, mid 50s at 10, and then mid 40s by tomorrow morning. Not quite as cool as this morning was, but only about a couple of degrees warmer. And then we'll head for 78 here tomorrow afternoon as our daytime warming stretch continues as well. We should be closer to 69 this time of year, so almost 10 degrees above normal is where we will end up. So 45 tonight, mostly clear, still cool. Most places should stay out of the 30s tonight. There may be a couple in the hill country that briefly dip there, and then we'll keep the warming going for the weekend. 78 on Saturday, even warmer on Sunday, 83, but there may just be a few more clouds around on Sunday. Then look at this temperature roller coaster, we'll call it, here for the next week. We've got two cold fronts coming. Before each cold front, the temperatures spike. After each cold front, the temperatures drop quite a bit. You can see 86 on Monday, and then a cold front late in the day drops us down to just 70, barely 70 on Tuesday. And then as we get into Wednesday, the numbers are back in the low 80s again. And then another cold front, and then it's 60s here for Thursday. And of course, that's Thanksgiving, and even chillier, low 60s for Black Friday. There's going to be some humidity changes as well. Comfortable as we get through your Saturday, but Sunday's going to start feeling muggy into Monday as well before that first cold front knocks the humidity out, and then it starts to build again ahead of the next one. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. Unfortunately, neither front will bring us rain, but there will be more clouds around here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, mixing with the sunshine. And of course, yes, Thanksgiving is Thursday, and it looks dry for that. And as we continue to think about what we are thankful for, we have to continue to remind you that we are not yet at our goal for our Friendsgiving Challenge to raise money for the Central Texas Food Bank. They are trying to deliver 30,000 turkeys, or hand out 30,000 turkeys here for the holidays. And there is a much greater need for food around the holidays as people try to host family and friends. So if you can help support us, support them, go to KXAN.com/Friendsgiving and give to the evening team.
The judge in President-elect Trump's New York hush money case has postponed sentencing to allow for more time for arguments on whether the case should be dismissed. As NBC's Alice Barr reports, this comes as the president-elect announced a new pick for U.S. Attorney General.
President-elect Trump moving ahead with his new pick for the critical Attorney General job, naming former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, an experienced prosecutor who the president-elect praised for her work against drug trafficking. A longtime Trump ally, she was part of his first impeachment defense team, promoted false claims about the 2020 election, and wants Justice Department reforms.
The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated.
Bondi's selection came just hours after the first Trump pick, former Congressman Matt Gaetz, pulled his name from consideration amid intense scrutiny over allegations of sex trafficking and drug use that he denies.
If the things that the House Ethics Report were true, I would be under indictment and probably in a prison cell. But of course, they're false.
Gaetz resigned his House seat to pursue the AG job, today saying he will not try to rejoin the next Congress. It comes as the judge in President-elect Trump's New York hush money trial postponed his sentencing after a jury convicted him of falsifying business records to cover up an alleged sex scandal.
We didn't do a thing wrong.
The delay giving time for the Trump legal team's arguments that the case should be dismissed based on the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity and the president-elect's impending return to the White House. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office did not oppose a delayed sentencing, but signaled it would fight any effort to throw out the conviction. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Blue Origin launched its 9th flight with people on board into suborbital space today. The flight aboard the New Shepard rocket blasted off from the Launch Site 1 launch pad that's in Van Horn out in West Texas. The capsule touched down safely just around 10 minutes later after reaching an altitude of almost 350,000 feet. One of the 6 people on board, Emily Calandrelli, who is known to her millions of social media followers as the Space Gal, was on there, and she talked about observing our Earth from a vantage point not many people get to reach.
Stay tuned. And I kept saying, like, that's our planet. That's our planet. It was the same feeling I got when my kids were born. And I was like, that's my baby. That's my baby. And I, like, had that same feeling where I'm, like, seeing it for the first time. It was beautiful.
Take a look. Clearly such emotional moments there, really cool. And the trip actually made Calandrelli the 100th woman in space. Huge congrats to her and all 6 of them on board. Very cool. The launch comes as Blue Origin continues work on a new rocket, which is slated for its first launch attempt before the end of this year.